We went to our very first cruise during the school holidays in March on board Royal Caribbean Spectrum of the Seas, which is a 4-day, 3-night cruise to Penang. I had so many questions before the trip. What activities are free? What are paid? Similarly for the meals, even basic stuff like how do I get drinkable water, etc. etc. So I wrote a blog post with 14 random tips. For this video, I will explain further on each of those 14 tips. First, let me show you the highlights. I will stop here. You can watch the whole video with the link in the description. As you can see in just 40 seconds, everything seems great. And indeed, it is a great cruise. It is an activity that I will recommend trying, especially on board Royal Caribbean, which is very much catered for family with children. With that, let's start with tip number 1. The first tip is that you should book early because there's a lot of cost saving when you do that. For us, we booked 8 months in advance for this ocean view balcony mid-ship, which is actually slightly more expensive, for 2 adults and 2 kids. So they say that kids travel for free, but actually you still have to pay $124. It's really for the taxes and onboard service charge, blah blah blah. In total, we paid $1,600. That works out to be about $550 per night since it's a 3-night cruise. You compare this price to hotels, it's actually slightly more than maybe the 5 stars hotel. So it's very much I'll compare it to staycation, but you have much more things on the ship. So let's look at activities. The very first one that I would say is a must go are all the shows in the night. So 3 nights, every night there's shows, and they are all top-notch quality. They are really good production that if you can easily pay maybe $100 per ticket. So that's very worth it, and the kids, they all enjoyed too. There are 4 shows that we went to in 3 nights. There's this showgirl, there's a magic show, kids love it, the Effectos production, and then the Silk Road is another production, and the Silk Road is one that is highly sought after. It's the only production that requires you to reserve, and it's actually performed in this theater called 270. Yeah, this is 270, which is, I think, have a smaller capacity compared to the Royal Theatre. Reservation will guarantee you a seat, but it is very hard. And to make things worse, I have to tell you first, if you're like me, first time you go into their app or their website, you'll see a sold out there. So when I see that, I thought, oh no, I really missed that reservation. I didn't even know when they started to open up the reservation. But then it's not. We realized that after we check in on the first day at Marina Bay Cruise Center, after we check in, you can reserve via the app. But by 12 o'clock where we check in, which is considered not that late, but by then there were only 2 tickets available. So anyway, my wife and I, we decided we'll go ourselves, but we still brought along our elder daughter who can appreciate more. So we just brought her along, and then at the door we asked the person if it's okay, and they actually say, yeah, it's okay. They will take her as a walk-in. So for reservations, you have to enter 15 minutes before the show. Thereafter, right, they allow anybody to walk in. And for the Silk Road, by the time that we actually entered, I can really see a long queue forming. So if you don't want to be in the queue, then try to reserve. But if not, everyone should still be able to get a seat. At most, you'll be standing. So it's a free sitting thing. Even for reservation, free sitting, you go in, find any seat. So all in all, just go to as many shows as possible. They're all good. Tip number 3, check in early. Because as I said, the Silk Road, in order to reserve, I think you have to check in first. And this check-in is tricky. Although you would have selected your boarding time in the app. For us, we selected 12, which is I think the second earliest slot. There's probably a 11:30. And at the check-in there, they actually have a sign that's warn you that you cannot check in earlier than your allocated time. But then nobody enforced this at all. We are the obedient ones. We went in at 12 noon, and yet we still have to wait quite a bit before they can check us in and then go through immigration. So that took 1 hour plus before we are finally on board the cruise. And the first destination is that they welcome you at this Windjammer, which is the buffet place for lunch, and it was already so full. So with that, right, now that I understand now how check-in and things works, if I want to have a better embarkation, I would now consider this the key thing. So the key is something that is paid, but one of the things that is, it even includes the internet. One of the confusing thing is that you often see what is a C-Pass card. So what is a C-Pass? At first I was very confused. Then I realized, okay, it's just a card, and it's for every cruise passenger. You'll find it, they'll put it at the state room door. Then you just take it from the door and then you unlock your door and go in. So everything, you can use the card to charge to your account. So you can pay for drinks, pay for food, pay for items, play arcade. At the end of the trip, you will just charge to your Link credit card. Just not to be confused, there is this thing called a C class, Sky class, and Star class. So there's these 3 class, and these 3 class are for people who book the suites. For suites, you're paying thousands of dollars, so you got this special privilege. Tip number 4, the main dining. So main dining is the largest dining place where they serve breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you're seated in the same table every time. But unfortunately, right, I feel the food quality is not that great, not as much as I expected. And we actually went only for 1 dinner and 1 breakfast, and we didn't go again. For example, on the first night, I ordered this New York steak. Yeah, this is the steak. Look at it, you know that no, it's not the kind of great steak. It tastes okay actually, but it's just not top-notch quality. Like this French toast, wow, I don't like this kind of French toast at all. The other place that you can dine for free is Windjammer, which is the buffet place. It provides more variety, so you choose whatever you like to eat. And then there's also a pizza nearby, which is actually surprisingly good. One of the other reasons that we go to the buffet place so much is also because of the flexibility. For the main dining, we are allocated a time, and we are the first sitting. That was about like 5 plus. Sometimes it disrupts because we might be doing something and then we cannot go at 5. Then there are also those paid specialty restaurants. We actually booked for only one called the Taste of Royal, which is $47 per person, and this one is kind of special because Taste of Royal is taking the dishes from each of the different specialty restaurants and then serve in one place. So you get to try out all the different styles, and the price is also reasonable, so we tried that. I'll say it's worth it. Go for this one, or at least one of the others also, but probably this first to try out, because one of it is that the taste is the quality is really much better than all those free ones. So here are some of the photos of the food that was served. They serve a few dishes with also a sparkling wine. Like this steak, look at this steak compared to that main dining one is heaven and earth. The other thing is that you can dine leisurely, quietly, because in those main dining or Windjammer, it's actually quite chaotic. A lot of people around. Tip number 8 is on water. This is something that was on my mind because when you go to the Royal Caribbean website and app, you'll see that they actually sell bottled waters, and it's very expensive. And I was like, why do they have to sell bottled water? You have free food, but in drinks you're not free? Okay, so it's just bottled water are paid, but if you want tap water, you're fine with the tap water. You can refill in the restaurants, or you can just drink from the tap. But for us, we actually buy bottled water in Singapore and then just bring some on board. And you can also, then you don't have to buy that much when you go to the port. For us, when we landed at Penang, we went out. You can also buy in Penang and then bring it back. The other essentials is internet. So for internet, they are very expensive. It's $27 per day per device. You can actually share because what they give you is just a login, so you can log out and then you go to another device and let another person use. But for $27, actually, unless necessary, then if not, you can disconnect for a few days. Like me, be disconnected for actually not even a few days, because remember, when you're at the port, right, you can still receive 4G, 5G. Something about the app. So I'm an iPhone app developer, so their Royal app is really didn't provide a good experience for me. There are really some things that I'm very disappointed with. For example, they have this party members things that you can link up and then you can chat. But one thing is that this chat, right, at the very start when you have to add your family members, you already got a hurdle because you actually can't add them easily. First, the person has to go in to say that you're searchable by name. Then you can search, then you can add. I just don't understand that if you're already grouping us, we are a party, then you should just add all the party members to group chat by default. So their navigations for their events, their timings, their calendars are all still subpar. And of course, I talk about the misleading info with the Silk Road. Yeah, this is the screenshot. They say sold out, but no, don't be scared by this. The Silk Road can only be reserved after you check in on the first day. And it's also free. It's not sold out because it's complimentary. You don't have to pay. Tip number 11. This is actually something very important that I think everybody should read. Cruise Compass is actually just a PDF for every day on board the ship. So they give you a QR code, put it in your room. It's for you to scan. When you scan it every day, right, they will show you what's available for that day. So let me open up. So it's just a PDF. Tells you all the things that you can do, all the timings for that day. When is it open? So this is very important. I like this presentation better than the app. For example, if I want to look at activities like all this, I can see it nicely. What time are they open? What time they closed? So they also have the show timing. There are many activities, and I would say that mostly they're geared towards children and teenagers. So these are some of them. Some are paid. These three, they are free. Yeah, we tried all this, and of course we played arcade, North Star, Skypad. So queues can be very long. It's like Bumble Car is very popular. You can queue 1 hour just to play it for a few minutes. Then rock climbing, sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short. So you should plan carefully. Don't go when it's too long. Don't waste the time. Tip number 4, the port call at Penang. So we disembark at about 3 p.m. And for port calls, right, we already have questions. Do you need visa? Do you need to go through immigration or not? So I think different ports, they have different policies. So I can only speak for Penang. For Penang, the disembarkation is very fast. You don't need to go through immigration. What happens is that when you onboard the cruise, they actually collect your passport first. And only after you finish the port call, after you left the Penang port, they return you back your passport. That's why when you disembark, you are disembarking without your passport, you actually really can't go elsewhere. It's very easy to disembark. You just take your SeaPass card, you tap, and you can go out. So we planned only for a very short trip. We went to this place called Love Lane and Trulia Street for some Penang street food. We actually overpaid the taxi driver at the port because a bit naive lah. That time I have some problem connecting to my data, so I didn't use Grab. And then there's taxi driver outside, they quoted a price which is really way too much. I can just tell you, if you are using Grab, one taxi, one trip costs no more than $5 to this, let's say, Trulia Street. So these are some of the food that we had. They are great. Let's look at our room. It's called the state room. We are on level 12. Midship, I actually now also don't know why we choose midship, but for now, if I want to choose, right, I just choose one that's near to the elevator, because the elevator can be very slow. And from midship, right, to walk to both, there's 2 elevators on our sides. Both are equally far. We are right in the middle. So we had balcony view, which is nice. I would say I recommend. There's people always question, is the cruise very stable? You feel it shaking? Actually, not very much. It does. You can feel a bit of movement, but not a lot. But one very interesting thing that happened one of the night to my mom is that she kept hearing some sounds throughout the night, and she was so scared she didn't dare to go and find out what happens. She barely slept well for that night. Then in the morning, yeah, she told us about that. I told her that it's actually the hanger because I heard the same thing. So to conclude, right, I'll say that this trip is really, once again, I want to say it's a great travel experience. I might even want to choose to go for cruise again, but probably I want to choose a different ship, because I think different ship they have different productions, different shows, and different activities, different experiences. Now that I have went through my first cruise, I know how to prepare, what to expect more. I will actually also go and look at past cruise campers. There's this actually blog which have user contributed cruise campers, so you can here see which ship, and then if they are the same one, refer to it. Get a good feel of what will be happening every day. And of course, book early, secure a good price. Bye bye.